Thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif, an urban planner, and you're more than welcome to join my big journey of exploring the making of smarter and more livable cities. Please don't forget to follow Urbanistica on the different social media platforms, and also let's connect on LinkedIn. Big thanks to Urbanistica podcast partner AFRI. AFRI is an international engineering and design company providing sustainable solutions in the fields of energy, industry, and infrastructure. Are you ready for a new episode? Let's go for it. Today we have a new story and great storytellers. I have the pleasure to welcome you, Reem and Alaa, to Urbanistica podcast. Hey, and welcome.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, Mustafa, for inviting us.
Thank you so much for coming. How are you doing, Reem?
I'm doing well. A bit stressed from work, but it's good stress.
It's good stress.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a new kind of stress I hear about.
Yeah.
Good to hear. So, how are you doing, Alaa?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's a lot to do, but I think it's fun. It's really fun.
Seems like you're enjoying the hard work.
Yeah, because we're seeing results.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what makes a stress a good stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will explore more your story soon. But before we do that, let's start with you. You're our storytellers. How would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about your passion?
So my name is Reem Alexandra, and my parents are from Morocco, but they migrated to Dubai in the 80s. So I grew up in Dubai, and then I moved to Sweden in 2008. Post a car accident, I came initially here for treatment, but then I liked Sweden, and I chose to build my future here. I took courses in HR, business law, entrepreneurship, and some other topics or subjects. And yeah, that's basically the shortcut of my background. I've been also a human activist, worked with people since 2015, mainly refugees with spinal cord injuries. And my passion is problem solving and creativity.
Cool. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Well, let's move to you, Alaa. How would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about your passion?
Well, I would like to introduce myself as a 31 years old architect, passionate architect from Syria. So I was born and raised in Damascus, Syria, for a family that works with construction for decades. Then I moved to Sweden 6 years ago because of the civil war in the country. Right after my graduation, I lived in Leksand, Dalarna in Sweden for 2 years almost, worked there as an architect, then moved to Stockholm 4 years ago to build Combify together with Alexandra.
Awesome. Welcome to Stockholm.
Thank you.
How was the move like from the architecture in Damascus and in Syria then to Sweden? Is it a big difference?
Yes, actually, it's a huge difference. I mean, still, it's architecture is a universal language when you have you communicate with drawings and site plans and the same softwares, obviously. But then, of course, the way you get things done here in Sweden is completely different. Of course, it's more advanced, and you have to learn a lot to get into the production phase here.
Cool. And also, I see you wearing black, so of course, architect. Huh?
I have to. Otherwise, they won't consider me as one.
So tell me, Reem. Maybe sometimes I will call you Reem, sometimes Alexandra.
Yeah,
it's the same person.
It's the same person. They're both my first names, so you get to call me.
Yeah. So Reem, how did you both meet? I mean, you're in different fields, different countries.
Yeah, as I said before, I worked with humanitarian projects, mainly with refugees. So from 2015 until 2017, when I met Alaa, I used to run different projects with immigration and other organizations. And I used to travel to many municipalities around Sweden. I got invited to speak about the problem that I was passionate about solving. And then Leksands kommun, the municipality of Leksand, where Alaa lived.
Is it in the north? Where is it?
Yeah, in Dalarna.
Yeah.
It's about 3 hours from Stockholm.
Yeah.
And they invited me to speak at an event that was about the integration of newcomers in the Swedish labor market.
Which year was it?
2017,
Okay.
September. So they invited me to speak, and then Alaa was also a speaker.
Nice.
And then they also sat us on the same table, and then we talked. After that, we became friends, and then he called me, and he was like, "I'm coming to Stockholm," and then we met, and then he's like, "I want to start a company," and then I'm like, "Okay."
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Usually, like when people just come up with crazy big ideas, you'd get excited, and then maybe next day you would just forget it.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. So you kept in touch after the conference, right?
Yeah, it was about 1.5 months after.
Only?
Yeah.
Cool.
So we met September, towards the end of September, and then on the new year of that year.
2018.
No, 17.
17.
Still,
yeah.
2018, yes.
Yeah, 2018, yeah. Wow. So this was your idea?
It was like more of like a vision in the beginning, and then of course like you learn, and it evolved and developed to where it is today. So, but how the idea started is like in the last 5 years of me living in Syria, between 2010 and 2015, I watched how a country can be destroyed to the ground completely. And that was heartbreaking. So after watching all of that up close, I made a promise to myself that I will dedicate my career life to think future, not past, to build and never destroy. So what inspired me the most, or what inspires me today as an architect and immigrant, is how can I combine art with purpose? How can you take a concept, an idea from the concept phase to a piece of art fully working product phase? And how can we communicate the future and create something that people would like to use and get inspired by? So the idea started as, okay, now we came to Sweden. We have this huge opportunity to create something new. So we noticed like it's maybe like now it sounds boring, but we were like reading about like the European Construction Commission rules, and me and Alexandra about like now that every municipality is it's mandatory by the law to report all of their ongoing development plan and projects, and I had some skills in visualization and how like to translate like boring data into something fun,
piece of art.
Yeah, exactly. So then we were like Alexandra were like explaining to me like about like all of these rules and how things work here, and then we came up with a product idea, and we called it Reem. And that
like by her name?
Yeah.
No, actually it was like in the beginning it was like because
well, unfortunately we don't keep that name anymore.
Yeah. So it was in the beginning, because we work as architects, we're like with BEAM concept, building information modeling, and we deal with this like advanced 3D modeling tool where like it allows you to build, extract, and import information in a very advanced software. But then when we want to communicate that with our customers or like with the other stakeholders in the project that are not engineers or architects, you export PDFs. And like that's the way it's being done today. And that is like a huge shift from dealing with something smart to something very dumb as a PDF file. A project changes, and then you have to update the PDF and to keep everyone involved up to date with the latest files. So we came, okay, why don't we create something that is simpler, like web-based, that we call it Reem, which stands for like responsive information modeling. That is a simplified version for people to use it like with their phones, iPads, and computers. And we actually like started the company doing this. Like we were doing like pilot projects, working with companies and creating this simple project ID.
Yeah.
We called it Land ID, and actually it's still today. Like we have
Cool.
like many companies.
Cool. We of course gonna talk more about like the details of like your product or service, but tell me like the process from idea to make it happen. Like how did you do that? Because I know it's not easy. It's not like how cool as you tell it and how fast. And so I believe like many days and not years maybe spent on transforming the idea to something reality.
The process of taking this idea to where it is today, of course, it was a long run.
Yeah.
It was not easy and full of challenges. When we started, we didn't even we didn't have the intention to start as a typical startup and raise capital. We basically wanted just to work with something that we are very excited about, and we thought that it can create difference. So we started as a consultant company, meeting customers and selling them the vision with something that they can relate to with today's life. So it was actually easy for us to convince them, because you're coming to someone and you're telling them like, guess what? Instead of like you dealing of this like hundred of megabytes of like PDF files, I'm giving you like a really nice URL that you can use with anyone, and then we can keep updated for you. And we started like that, working with small projects, and you know, as any startup company, your early customers define the path of the company. So they started to give us good feedback. The word of mouth as well, like, got us more customers, and then when we felt that it's the time right now, like we have like now customers that we never ever like dreamed of having that fast.
Yeah.
Then we said, okay, we are into something and we want to involve more tech to our startup. And that's when we shifted from a consultant based company to more of like a tech startup that needs capital to create a product that is reliable for like many users too.
There was a lot of market research, a lot of listening to the customers, a lot of pivoting.
I imagine like Alaa is interested in construction, architecture, and urban planning. How about you? Yeah, like this field is completely new for you, I guess, because like you work with HR, not really like construction stuff.
Yeah, I know, but
like when he told you the idea.
Yeah, I mean, the idea how it started, it wasn't the platform how it is today. It's something that evolved to the platform it is today. But he talked about how can we visualize information and even visuals, like future construction projects. And I was very interested in it because I've always, anyways, been interested in architecture. And I grew up in Dubai, so many buildings, so much construction happening all the time.
Yeah.
And I've always been interested what's happening behind that billboard or the doors. Yeah, what's happening behind the closed doors until the construction is done. So when he proposed the idea to me, I thought that I would bring, because it's very technical, and I am not. And I think that when you combine a human aspect and technical aspect, you will make a good product that is easy for people to understand.
It's fun you say human aspect and technical aspect.
Yeah,
exactly. Like he's a robot.
I was not a human aspect here, like,
yeah, because when technical people think like it's becomes too technical, like no one understands,
Yeah, true.
So and then human, it's like the main general anyone would understand. So
what do you think, Alaa?
Well, it's very interesting because like today in the company, I don't see myself like the technical.
Oh yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore. When we have like all the like tech
genius
people
people
working with us, then it was like, okay, I'm not technical at all. So, like,
compared to them.
Now I'm a human again.
Yeah, exactly. But you're like more maybe technical / practical more. And I'm like, okay, how can we simplify this? How can we make this smoother? How can we make this more understandable?
So you like the idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really agree with that, because in the beginning, I mean, still we wanted to create something for non-architects, non-engineers, like that, for the, like, for example, like building developers and investors who wants to deal with massive amount of data, but still they don't want to learn softwares. And like having Alexandra and like her human sense, perspective, that was like really great for me, because I don't see my like the product from only an architect perspective. It was only like from a human perspective, I can say. So
It's a good combination.
yeah, great
Yeah.
combination.
Yeah. So if you, because I know like it has been different services or product, but can you explain to me the final? What do you call, do you call it like service or product? What do you call it?
It's a platform.
A platform.
As
Yeah.
a service.
Yeah. Can you explain to me and to the listeners like in details? What is it about? How does it work?
Yeah, of course. So today, like I will take as Sweden as an example, like what we do in Sweden. We have 290 municipalities in Sweden. Each of them, they announce and publish their ongoing development plan, city planning projects. They call it Itali Planer in Sweden, and then the building permits and what's going on or planned to be constructed within the boundary of that municipality. And each of them, they have their own system of visualizing or announcing that, and it's varied between a big municipality with a lot of resources to build an interactive system, and another one was like just create a list and just publish documents.
Yeah.
So what we do is like we built machine learning based technology algorithm that actually goes to those municipalities sources and get this information. It can identify a project profile, and it brings it back to us in Combify, and it does that every 24 hours. And then we classify those projects on a visual map, interactive map, where we have the boundary of this project and its area of effect, and combining all of these projects and data sources create a future map of Sweden. So instead of like having just like a map where you can see how things look like today, you can actually visit any area in our platform, any in Sweden, and see what is planned here based on those uh, on the municipality plan. So today the platform is divided into like two parts. The first one is the interactive map, where basically you can search any location and go there and see what is planned to happen there. So if there is something going to be built in Sweden in the next 5 to 15 years, it has, and it's legally going to be built, so it has to be there.
Okay.
And then we, of course, like those projects will update along like every day. So we every 24 hours we make sure that the data is up to date. The other part of the platform is the tracking service, which is like you as now like a building professional. You go there and you tell us what you actually are interested in. So if you are like a building developer who is only working with residential projects, or maybe building office buildings, schools, in specific location, and you want to get in the project at a certain phase, so you can select that advanced filter, and then we send you a report in a daily or weekly or monthly basis. You can decide that of what's happening and what it can be interesting for you.
So if I understand you correctly, how many municipalities you mentioned? 200 something?
90.
90.
90.
Okay, so what you do is like you gather all the 290 municipalities in one platform and show what they develop.
Exactly.
Like very super basic. But is the platform open to the public? Like can my friend check what's going to happen in Helsingborg?
Yeah, I mean, they can see the map, but then if they want to see more information about that specific project, then they will have to log in. But of course, us as a business, we're targeted B2B, so we target business companies. But of course, if it's a private person that wants to subscribe, then they're welcome.
It's possible,
but,
right?
Yeah, it is possible. But us as a company, we only target B2B. Yeah.
But when you like by the machine learning, can you explain to us like what is it? How does it work? Like how do you gather the information?
Yeah, exactly. So the way we do it, I mean, there are like certain criterias for a project to be identified as a project page. So like
According to you?
according to us, like as a human, and then if I consider myself as a human again.
Yeah, you can use it in this time. This is
But-
the exact definition of human.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then, like, I mean, you can teach a machine to how to identify a project.
How do you identify? Like what are your criterias?
I mean, there are like, I mean, it's of course like it's a complex algorithm where it has to do with like some keywords and documents that have to be attached to a certain project. I mean, for example, in Sweden you have two very important documents for every development plan projects, and they are like they called like plan beskrivning, the project description, and plan karta, which is the plan map or the law, the land use drawing for this. So I mean those, I mean, of course, when you have these documents attached to a project, and then you have the different phases that a project goes through. There are like 5 phases in Sweden from a project, from the starting phase to being legally forced and decided by the municipality. So you know all of these criteria is like we have taught to
Plus a
our
bit of a
machine.
secret sauce.
Exactly.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So your program, the machine, and the machine visit the 290 homepages and collect the different projects somehow.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's very interesting to point out that we don't only collect, we collect and then we go back to see that it's, if anything, that has changed. So the data is always moving. It's not static. It's not just scraping the web and putting it in our platform. It's actually
You're
keeping
updating
it
every
alive
24
every
hours.
24 hours, going back, checking the slightest thing that has changed. What is it? And then we inform our users.
But are these like documents for the public use? I mean, can you just take it like this, or do you need to get a permission from the municipality?
No, this is the according to the EU Construction Commission. So it's not a Sweden only law, but all municipalities should provide this data. So it's open data that other businesses can make business out of it.
Cool.
So
yeah. And as well, like it's important to mention that like they are like not as simple as like 290. There are like 290 entities or municipalities, but there are like thousands of data sources because they are not like structured. There's like one URL that if you visit, you would find exactly what you find in Combify. It's much more complex than that. It took us like 2+ years only, like to program that system. And as well, like we are information platform, so like we link these data sources together. So it's not that we claim that we own the data. It's we are just linking you, so we're saving you massive amount of manual work and time that you have to invest to do it manually. So we always, for example, in every project page we have in the platform today, we sort all the sources, like where this information comes from.
Yeah.
So if you really want to go and check yourself and see maybe there's something more here and there.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask, like, if I am like checking a project, what can I see in your platform? Is it only like the map showing like the boundaries of the development, or what are the other sources or material I can see?
Well, today you can see like have like a short description about the project. You can see the categories of the project. So if it's residential, schools, what is going to be built exactly. We give you like the contact information, the project phase and timeline, all the documents that are important documents attached to this project. As if there's like illustration plan, vision from the municipality as well, we show it. Companies involved, like as project owners or architects in the project, and that all like we consider it as like one data layer in the platform. So what we are adding to this is as well, then we are tracking this project to the building permit phase, and then now we're adding markanvisningar as well, like the land
Public
allocations
tenders.
and public tenders, which
Which will help so many, especially building developers.
Yeah.
And also the way that we have also built our filter system. For example, you're a building developer, that you're only interested in lands that have specific metrics, geographically, or detailplaner, detailed plans that have only commercial in specific municipalities. So they'll be able to filter these and then save them as their own filters. So they customize their dashboard, and then they get updates there so that they are with the progress of that.
So instead of like searching in different homepages and collecting and putting in Excel the different links, and you provide them with everything.
Exactly. We try to make their lives better.
And in addition to that, you can actually like create your own like analysis and reports from like your dashboard. For example, like you can filter based on project categories and phase, and then like for example how many schools is planned to be built in the next like 3 years in Sweden, and in what municipality they are. For example, like we have today like 117 schools are planned to be built in the next 2 years in Sweden, and that they are like in close to the legal to be like in the legal force phase, and then they are only 9 of them are like in Stockholm city. So that
but then Alaa, then you can also like write a report in the end of each year about what is going on in Sweden. I mean, not only, I mean, you have the data, and you can do the analysis and analytics. What are the projects? What's going on?
Right.
Like, and just publish for the, what do you call it? Like a report, yearly report about what's going on in Sweden.
Yeah.
Because I believe there is nothing like you that have gathered everything happening in Sweden, or?
No,
not programmatically, at least. Not as a machine.
Not as a machine. You have like big companies that have internal departments that do that for them.
Yeah.
And then you have other competitors that only sell data to one of our target groups in a specific project phase.
Okay.
So there is no one that starts from the very beginning, which is from a detailplan or markanvisning and all of that, and then ending it with project being alive. Of course, we still don't have financial information and all of that, but we're trying to reorganize the scatter data, and we're starting from the top.
What do you mean from the top?
From the top, from the beginning.
Okay.
From the beginning, which is from the municipality, and then ending it with getting information from other private companies, and then adding our own analytics and statistics that could be it could be environmental numbers, it could be financial numbers and all of that. Then we as Combify will create those this data. So we're that's how we're doing.
So I can follow the project from the beginning on the platform, right? Until it's built up and people start using the buildings. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
And what happened after, like when the project is done? You remove it or keep it?
We keep it. So we have like these phases, so you can see like what like in the platform today we're adding as well something like in operational city planning projects, so you can really see the documents of a project that was built in the 1940. You mean exactly.
So cool.
So you still, I mean, we don't highlight them, but we give you access to them if you are interested in. So we're trying to see like everything that has been digitized by municipalities and it's like hidden somewhere, and it takes you a couple of phone calls and emails to get. No, we just like we just give it to you if you visit that area, and then click and then get documents.
Because that tool is very good for architects.
Exactly, because if you are like now starting a new project, or like you are going to a meeting and then you really want to know something about the area, because if you want to, for example, have a building permit of like in here in the city center, I mean, definitely like the building was built like, you know, at least 100 years ago, or even sometimes more. So you need to get like, you know,
of course,
to the legal documents and what is allowed to be built, and if you are actually allowed to have a building permit. So do we save you some time before like starting contacting the municipality, and then you can start like see what information is available that we have that can be beneficial to you.
Yeah. So Reem, you explained, or you mentioned that like targeting group and so on. Who are you targeting?
We have 6 main target groups.
Mm.
But then our current focus is on 2, but of course we have 6. The first one is building developers, companies or individuals that are looking for lands to develop, but also have development plans under construction and want to see what's going to be built around their areas, because that will affect their own project. And yeah, to see like empty lands around the country. And then you have building suppliers, companies that sell products or services to the building developers. It could be from material to labor to products, selling everything from A to Z to construction projects. And this will help them see what's going to be built in even other municipalities. But also, if we go back to the filtering, for example, you're building a supplier that sells material only to schools, then you'll be able to target and see clearly which schools are going to be built. And then you have real estate companies. It could be property owners, or you have this. You have a few buildings spread around the country, and you want to also see if there's going to be a bridge going to be built opposite of your property, because that will also affect your own property. I'm giving examples, but they could be many other uses for them.
Yeah.
And then you have real estate agents that also sell properties, and this will also help them be more educated when they want to sell. That will make them feel more expert in the area when they want to sell the buildings or the properties. They know what's going to be built not only in the upcoming 2 years, but maybe in the next 5 years. And then you have architects, which are architects and city planners. And every project start, there's always X amount of hours dedicated for studying the area.
Yeah.
That the project, they have a project in, and sometimes a customer says, yeah, I want you to come up with a drawing that is the same feeling of this area. And what do? You go to Google, you go here, you go there. What is the feeling of this area? So you'll be able to see also past projects that have been built. It will help you. Did I forget investors?
Yeah, I mean, I think like that is like a really great detailed classification of our target group. I can maybe simplify it really for like the audience in the way we see our target customers are divided to 2 groups. The first one are professionals who are building our cities.
Exactly.
And then the other group is the professionals who are working with the first group that are building our cities. So the first one are like building developers and real estate investors, the ones who have the vision and start a project and own it from start to end.
Yeah.
And then everyone else that work with them, and they can be architects, engineers, construction companies, and service providers or material suppliers
that make the vision happen.
Exactly. So you either and like the first target group, the first like building developers, they are more interested in the location, because that's how they function. So basically, what Combify helps them is they can visit there and like now read the area, read the location in a way that's never been done before. No one combined that many of like data layers in the top of each other. And then for the professionals who are working with them, they are interested in the project entity. So basically, they want to follow or track that exact project because they either involved in or they are just curious about, or like they have a similar project that they want to learn from this one. So those are
the groups or target customers.
Yeah. And today we can say like we have 50% of each as users. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have like the numbers, or how did you like? How do I register or subscribe as a person or as an organization? Let's say like AFRI.
Yeah.
I subscribe as a Mustafa Sharif, like as a person working at AFRI, or as an organization.
Yeah. So
If you understand my question.
yes, of course. Yeah, of course we do. So now, I mean, you subscribe as a professional, as a user to the platform, but then we are building currently like a service for you to sign up as an organization and then add your colleagues to
Yeah.
to your dashboard, because of course, like that was like a function that we really wish to have, but what we didn't prioritize because we had limited resources, and we wanted, like, of course, to get the product interesting enough and
Hmm.
valuable for our users. And then now when we started having like big companies signing up, and then they are like, for example, we have some companies, they have like 12 users, so they really want to sync between each other, like
course,
to
yeah.
tag each other and like have it the same criteria,
Mm.
same dashboard. And that now we are building this where you can actually be the organization owner and then add your colleagues.
At the team, yeah, as a
Add
team.
the team.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Can you tell us about how much does it cost, or no? It depends on like organization or number or.
Yeah, I mean, we have now the first, like the we have two packages. The first one we call business, and that when you have access to the ongoing development plans and infrastructure projects happening in an area, and that goes for 1,000 kroner per user, monthly subscription.
Just like the €100
Yeah,
per
100
month.
euro, exactly.
Yeah.
100 euro per month, and then we are introducing in next 2 months Business Pro, where we actually have much more data layers, and that will be like more. We're like now still thinking the pricing for that.
Mm.
That package.
Yeah.
But why? I mean, if you really like think about the price range is quite low for the
Yeah,
industry
like
standard.
I'm a bit surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, you're gonna see why.
Exactly, and we get like many questions like, you can sell this for like 10 or 20x that amount. Why don't you do that? And actually, the reason why we do that, because when we started the company, me and Alexandra, we were like creating something that we really wished that it was exist when we were like, so me as an architect, I really
Yeah.
wish to have this tool on my desk.
Mm.
And that how it started. So the vision is to have like Combify as the primary source of information for you, like the Google of construction industry, we
Wow.
like to call it. And we want to have it on every professional desk.
Yeah.
And for us to get there, we want to have to provide like this type of
Yeah.
entry gate.
Yeah.
For everyone. So we
Yeah.
do not want to build a premium product only for premium companies.
Mm.
We want to build a product that small businesses can also benefit from.
Yeah.
Especially, this will also give more companies opportunity to know about projects very early on, so that they can also be part of these projects.
Mm. Mm.
So this is the entry gate, which is 1,000 crowns per user. But yeah, as we're building the platform, you'll be able to buy in different products inside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard there is like a third package for Mustafa.
Yeah, I mean, after this,
Yeah.
Depends on the cutting of the.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, we'll see
Wait.
after I hear this.
No,
Yeah.
it's very interesting, like how you, like the aim of what you do and how much you're passionate about it. And I really believe this will change the way we work. It makes it like so much easier, save a lot of time, so we can focus on other stuff. I talk like from urban planner perspective. But tell me, like now you're like the co-founder, right?
Mhm.
So tell me about the team.
Mm.
Who's in your team?
Yeah, we have about 70%, even more, of our team are developers. We have a genius CTO. He was very, very passionate about this problem that we're solving. We managed to attract actually the brightest minds, because it's complex problem to tackle. So we have data scientists. If you have like PhD in physics and maths, we have front end, back end, full stack developers. We have sales, marketing, product design. So yeah, we're about 12
Yes.
in house, but then we also have other people
Wow.
out. Yeah.
Did you imagine that this will happen, that you will be so many people in the team when you started this?
That was the aim. That was the vision. Not 12. We dreamt of a whole building, but not this fast, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because we tripled the company size last year.
Yeah.
Of course, that was like very challenging to find, like-minded, passionate, driven colleagues to join you, and it took us some hard work to actually to get where we are today with the team we have, and we feel like very very lucky to have them, and we hope that we are gonna continue with that. Because we were considered, I remember like last year, like one of the most attractive startups in Stockholm.
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations.
Exactly.
Thank you.
But I really, really like my team, because I always say that when you have employees or team members in any business, of course, skills do matter, but soft skills matter as well. And I like their personalities, their motives, they're passionate. It equals how smart they are.
Yeah.
So I really like my team.
Shout out to the team.
Yeah,
Yes.
Combify team. Yeah.
So what it was
Thank
like, you told me like you changed the name like from Reem to Land, and now like the startup name Combify. What does it mean?
Yeah, I mean that was actually like just like the product name, like the technology, like let's call it. I mean the company name was in the beginning what was UVR Nordic, and then we just like me and Alexandra,
Which is
this is
Uppleva virtual reality.
yeah, exactly, as like we are creating like this, like simulating the world or creating like virtual world where we want you to immerse in, and then we thought like that was like very technical. I was trying to be
Reem be like, no,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like, let's
understand
humanize this.
exactly, let's humanize this, and
Yeah.
then we changed the company name. I think 2.5 years ago to Combify, which stands for Communicating Building Simplified.
Yeah, yeah. We literally put like, okay, what are we? We're communicating buildings. And then what are we doing to it? We're combifying it. We just came up with a word, but that's what it
Wait,
stands for.
tell me the short one more time, like, but very slowly.
Yeah.
The Combify stands for
Communicating Building Simplified.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, that's what Combify is.
So let's start like you're doing this in Sweden, and maybe like in Sweden municipalities have like homepages and they upload material and so on. So maybe I will not say it's easy for you to collect data, but let's say, can you apply same method in other countries that not really advanced when it comes to the putting material, PDFs, and so on?
Yes, definitely. I mean, we have already done our homework and research regarding like how to scale to other countries. So as previously mentioned, the reason why municipalities in Sweden announce and publish their ongoing and planned building projects is not because it's in the Swedish law. It's actually in the European Construction Commission law that every municipality in Europe should do this, and there are like around 33,000 municipalities.
Wow.
So we have already like checked countries like Germany, Denmark, Spain, and Norway. And we were surprised that actually like Sweden is not the perfect, like most advanced technical scenario.
Sorry, Sweden.
Yeah. So for example, in Germany, they really have a very advanced system, like
how?
publishing I mean, they have like APIs, for example, like here.
What is API?
Like, I mean, you can, for example, like link your like model or like our like machine learning algorithm to those cities or municipalities APIs and use their data flow and their information to commercialize it and to create to tell a story and create a product out of it.
Cool.
But for example, here in Sweden, they are only publishing them as a list of documents.
Yeah.
That you can actually programmatically use that data in a smart way. You have to first create a very customized model to use it. So in Germany, they are more advanced. So it will be for us technically easier to launch in Germany. But of course, then you need to have the network and the industry knowledge, and you have to have the resources for you to launch such in such.
So you can't just basically send your machine and collect everything in Germany and sort it and that's it. You
No,
need.
I mean, we did already do that in Berlin,
Mm,
like all of Berlin. Like we can collect data, but it's about how, like business-wise,
yeah.
how do you launch now in this country? How
Mm.
do you speak the language of that country and stuff? So these kinds of barriers that are not very complex to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, because I mean, you can do that in a short amount of time if you want to do it like only to show what is a certain municipality is doing or planning to build. But the updates part is that's like the most complex because updates
Okay.
is like you have to have this back and forth communication
Mm.
programmatically between you as a platform and the source,
Okay.
and that's what we actually like. We want to build it right, so when we
Mhm.
launch in a country we want to tell our users there that we are reliable.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can trust us.
Yeah.
And the word trust, to get your user to trust you, no one knows how it's going.
Mhm.
And the industry is extremely conservative when it's come to trying new technologies,
Yes.
and it takes time to convince them, so
Yeah.
we really want to
S-
Do it
reach.
properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now you're only in Sweden.
Yes.
Right.
And are you like the first worldwide doing this?
Yes.
That's so cool.
In the way, I mean, because we used always to say, me and Alexander, in the early days of Combify, is like, really it's not about the idea, is how you execute it.
Mm.
So it's I won't say like we are, because if you are the first one who came with the idea,
No, I mean like the first platform from this kind.
I mean, the way we are executing it is different.
Mm.
Yeah, the way that the way that we're visualizing the data, the way that
Yeah.
we're doing the user experience, the way that we're putting everything together, because the data has been lying out for decades,
Yeah.
and there are, of course, other data sellers.
Mm.
But the way that they sell it, the way that they collect the data is not
Mm.
the way that we collect our data. So we're just doing it differently. So in that aspect, we're not inventing the wheel because it's already been invented, but we're just making it much smarter and better and easier.
Cool.
So
Do-
in
do-
that aspect.
Because like in Sweden, I'm happy to hear that actually now. I'm very proud also doing this podcast with you. Like Stockholm is one of the top smart cities or for tech startups. Do you feel that Stockholm helped you a lot with taking the idea into the actions, or like, because I hear a lot about the ecosystem of startups and so on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can speak for myself, and then Alexandra can as well tell her perspective, or a human's perspective. Yeah. So I mean, when I moved to Sweden, I just read about like the startup communities and the concept of starting a company. We didn't have that in Damascus. It was more like the traditional way of running businesses. So when, I mean, of course, like when after moving to Sweden, like Sweden and Stockholm especially, like helped a lot, because one of the reasons actually why I made the decision to move to Stockholm, because I read this article, I remember, like 6 years ago, about Stockholm being the second Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
That it comes really after California in tech startups and the environment that it creates for entrepreneurs to pursue their dreams. And it was so true. I mean, after moving here to Stockholm, working with extremely bright individuals, and the I would say like the VC world as well here, and investors are quite open minded for trying to to invest in new risky ideas, and they really aim to understand your product. It's not like they want now to the return of investment, like if they invest today they want it tomorrow, but they sit with you, they understand the product, they understand that you understand what you're trying to solve here. And I would say it was a really a great journey, and we're still
Nice.
like now.
What do you think, Karim?
About Stockholm?
About Stockholm, like, and the ecosystem, if it like helped you a lot with okay, it's fine. So what do you think, Karim, about like Stockholm as a good ecosystem for startups? Did you get a lot of help?
Yeah, I mean, this is why I like Sweden a lot, especially Stockholm, is because everyone has an equal opportunity, and it only depends on your effort. This is my own personal opinion. It depends on your effort. If you have an idea, then there are organizations like ALMI, for example. It's governmental. Its sole existence there to help entrepreneurs in guidance. If they want money, they give them money. If they want advices, they give them advices. Loans, they give them loans. They tell them where to go. So there's equal opportunity to everyone, and it depends on your effort. I know that, like cultural diversity or other backgrounds, some people may say that it affects their opportunities and all of that. But my personal experience is, if you have the passion and if you have the effort, then Stockholm will open its doors for you.
Let's talk about this aspect for a little bit, because we all from different countries and not from Sweden.
Yeah.
And I heard the same, that like some of my friends, they say, no, just because I'm from Iraq or, I'm non-Swedish, so I will not get the opportunity to do something. You told me that from your own personal story, you told me, no, it's not true, because there is an equal opportunity somehow if you really aim or passionate about doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I am a woman, young, have a physical disability, and not from Sweden, and yet I am in construction, and I have my own startup. It's, at the end of the day, I've said it before, at the end of the day, when you are solving a problem that will affect other businesses positively, at the end of the day, these businesses do not care about you. They care about what you have to provide. And if you manage to show that this is what I'm here for, not what I'm coming from, and don't let that affect you. It's not a motivational speech. This is how I'm living my life.
Yeah.
This is how I'm doing it. It will not affect you. So opportunities are not given; they are created by you.
Cool. What do you think, Alaa? You when did you come to Sweden?
6 years ago. Actually, I can't agree more with Alexandra, the way she put it. But like, to me, as an immigrant, I think we have this opportunity to spot opportunities, because if you were like born and raised in Sweden, then you don't spot the leverage of the ecosystem here and how things work. But when you come from a different country, then you start to compare. That's the first thing you do, naturally. And then you can see, okay, wow, here there's like a really, like, here things are done in a certain way that I can leverage that, I can learn, and I can do something about it, because I didn't have that option before. So that's how everything started. Like, when I came here, and I was like, okay, I want to start to get into the labor market as soon as I can.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to find to work as an architect very early on, 3 months, I remember, after moving to Sweden. And then from there you just start to learn, observe, and respond.
Wow.
So I think
Interesting.
I mean, exactly as Alexandra said, I mean, you create your own opportunities by just going outside every day. Like, don't just think of the obstacles, and don't over plan it. If you can see your next step, just do it. I mean, just like take that step, and then you will figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like so many people would be like, yeah, but I look different. How would they take me seriously? How would they, if you're coming from another background that is not Swedish? At the end of the day, if you have, as I said, a real problem solving, people will listen to you. They will stop caring about how you look like if they have something, if you have something that they need.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting. What are the challenges that, like, you facing as a company, as a startup now?
Challenges. If I start from the top, like me and Alaa, I will speak about me as a founder. The challenge of scaling up fast, it's a good thing, but also a tough thing to do because you have to keep up with so many things happening at the same time. Business aspect, investor aspect, product aspect, employee aspect, all of these. But it's like good stress. It's good challenge. It's not something that is impossible to solve. But how do you keep up the vision and everything with so much opportunities and so many things that are moving fast and changing fast that you keep focused?
So for you, the challenge is the speed of scaling up.
Yeah, the speed. How do you still stay focused while moving fast? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand you. What are your challenges that you're facing?
Well, I mean, the challenges that we are facing. I mean, first, as a company, we are operating within the construction industry, and as mentioned, like the construction industry is quite conservative, and it takes time to change the mindset to 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 communicate. There are like maybe better ways of doing something that has been always done in a certain way. So I would say winning our customers' trust in this industry is one of the biggest challenges and most important challenges we have to overcome. And because early customers really define the success of your startup, and their word of mouth matters a lot, and how they speak about Combify to their colleagues, to their partners, and so on. Then scaling wise as well, always like keep hiring smart, bright, like-minded, driven, passionate people that they have skill set that you maybe miss or you don't have is super important. So we see this as something we have always to we need to invest more in, and then there's like, of course, like me and Alexandra being the founders of this company, we have the challenge of becoming always better leaders, to learn how to become better with management and running a team of bright individuals, and leading this ship to the right direction.
Interesting. Do you think that you're young to be a leader, or what do you think about leadership? Like in your,
I don't think age has a lot to do with it. I think like experiences and
Vision.
and yeah, I mean the more time you invest in learning and meeting with people who you look up to, like people who has been here before, and they got over and they are in a place that you wish to be in soon in the future. I think you can learn a lot from them, and they we have met. We were being lucky to meet many people who were like very willing to help and to sit with us and tell us the story of their success, and you learn.
Nice. Do you consider yourself as a leader, Reem?
Yes.
Why?
I don't see myself anything else because it's in my nature. I don't like to follow, not in a rebel kind of way, but I don't like to follow as in I like creating things. I like creating a structure, organization for the greater purpose. So it is in my nature. And I try to be better at it every day.
Of course. Because now you're leading this kind of platforms, and it's very important, like where you will take it. It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, I mean that's why we should always, or that's how we've been doing it. With every step we do, we challenge ourselves. I challenge Alaa, and he challenges me. Why do we do this? And it's based on what? Facts, market research, customers. Listen to the customers, listen to their feedback, but then don't change the whole product for one customer. So all of these metrics will help us keep the vision alive.
So tell me, what is your mission? by doing this?
Yeah, well,
Apart, like I know you're like making money, that's good, and so on. But tell me about what is your mission?
the mission is has been like the same since we started the company, and is to become like the primary search engine for like construction industry in Sweden, and later in EU. So we really want to become, we want the platform to become your main tool of understanding the future of certain location, project you're working on, and to have it always on your desk. And
Why do you want us to have it always on our desk?
because the way I see it, or like if we talk about like the city of the future, I think the city of the future should tell us how the city of the future is going to look like based on the decisions we're making today. And we as a human, we have been always trying to forecast and to predict how the future is going to look like using science fiction. But with today's resources, we can actually do that by gathering, collecting, and unifying all the decisions being made, and then tell a story from that combination of information, and show you if we are planning to build a school here and like 500 apartments there and an office building there and industry there, this is how it's going to look like. That is the city of the future. So if you really want to change it, you have to now like do something about the decisions being made now, because it's a slow industry. I mean, you can't change a city overnight. It takes 15 to 30 years. Like, like you are urban planner, like with master planning, we create something that the vision of 15 or 20 years ahead. So that means you're making the decision today for how the future is going to look like, right? So what we are trying to do is here, like our mission is just to combine all of these data and decisions being made and tell you a story, and then it's up to you now to decide how to move forward with it.
What is the next step for Combify? Talking about the future and the next chapter.
The next step for Combify is keep doing what we're doing today, and
never give up,
and never. I mean, of course, like
so
pushing
much
more
work to be done. More.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually, like it's really interesting with a startup. Like I mean, if you really want to focus and to get things done, you really have to block and postpone, say no to so many interesting ideas. Because like,
really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait. Explain to me.
Yeah, like for example, the construction industry as a whole is one of the biggest industries in the world. And then you have a construction project, let's say a medium-sized one. There's so many people involved in it. And each of these collect data at a different stage in a project timeline. And all of these people already have so many problems and wishes and wish lists. And, if I had this, my life would be better.
Okay.
If I did this, my life would be better. So for entrepreneurs, it's such an amazing opportunity to see so many problems that can be solved. But of course, for the industry itself, it's something bad to go through. But like there's so much data that is created in the project timeline, and there's so many ways for us to organize them. So now it's like, how do we focus? How do we pick?
Okay.
One of the things,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you are like, if you're selling a pen, I mean, you need first like to make sure that your pen works, perfectly, and then you start thinking of like what other features I can add to the pen. But that's the least you can expect from this. And then of course, like when you are like now in the process of creating something that you have said that is going to do a certain thing, it's really challenging to make sure that it's extremely reliable, and you are 110% sure about delivering what you have promised,
which is very, very important.
which is very important. And then you have a happy customer, and then that are like wishing, giving you their wish list of things that they wish to have. But you are still now in the process of like making sure that all the customers are like, happy
Yeah.
with what you have promised. And then as any startup in the world, you have like limited resources. So you have to really focus in recruiting those resources on the right, task.
And because the vision is so big,
Yes.
so we need to do it right from the beginning. We don't want, of course, we're driven by business and sales and all of that, but we want to really build a solid product that can scale outside Sweden as well.
Yeah. So, do you have like a list of countries that you want to get into in the coming years?
We are actually like, we've been looking at Germany a lot. I mean, the Nordic countries, of course, like Finland, Norway, and Denmark. And then after that, we're looking at Germany and Spain.
Okay.
They have similar open data strategies to the ones Sweden.
Nice.
has.
But also my vision also to launch in Dubai, in United Arab Emirates. So much is going on there. So much is being built there. And they need a tool like this.
It's going to be interesting to follow the journey.
Yeah.
You mentioned the resources. I remember when we spoke last time, you told me like how when you moved to Stockholm and like you had very small desktop, something like this, if I remember correctly, like how you started.
Yeah, I mean, when we started the company, we started in Alaa's living room in Leksand. We removed all of the furniture and then we put a logo. We printed a logo on the, do you remember you had a glass door in the living room? So it looked like an office.
So cool.
Yeah. So, and then we printed a logo there. We didn't have any customers coming to our home, but
just for you, like
just for us. Yeah. So I used to go to Alaa's home every week. And then we had like all of the desks and everything planned there. That's how we started.
Well, it's still to me one of the nicest offices.
Yeah, it was really nice.
You told me it was like a beautiful window view.
No, that was after it.
It's the one after, yeah.
Yeah, also in Leksand, the first real office.
With the real logo.
Yeah, exactly. And that office was really, really nice because it had this, like, it was like the nicest view in Leksand.
Wow.
It has a view that like you can see the water and then like a bridge, and like the nature was like extremely, it's really nice in Dalarna. And then I remember like after moving to like our first office in Stockholm, we moved to Odenplan, and then
it's like in the city center.
Yeah,
exactly. And then it was like our office was like on the street level, and we had like this big glass window where we had like a big truck the first day in the office, a big truck
because there was ICA, like a supermarket.
Okay,
exactly. And then there are written in the truck like enjoy the nature, and I was like,
where is it?
Where? Like, I mean, what do you mean?
You remember because we stayed at that office for like a year, and people were literally stopping like every day. They were like, what are you doing? You're always here day, night, because you could see it's see-through and it's ground level. And so everyone was like, don't you ever go home? Like,
how many hours do you work per day?
I mean, all the waking hours, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, there are of course some productive hours, but it depends on the to-do list, the priority list. But like my friends, or even Alaa, you can speak about your friends. They always tell me, you have to take it easy now. You need to shut down, and it's a weekend or whatever. But as an entrepreneur, it's your own business. You cannot shut down totally, even if you're on vacation. You're still trying to do something. You're still coming up with ideas. So you're basically working the whole time. But it's still, for us, is more like living. Is
it disturbing that you cannot really enjoy the moment because you're thinking about the business?
No, I chose this life. I enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy it, but it's disturbing when it's stressful things happening, of course.
Like not the positive stress.
Yeah, not the positive stress. Then it's like, of course, it's not all pinky and nice, but.
How about you, Alaa? How many hours?
Well, I mean, it's there are many. I mean, I don't think it's really healthy for everyone to put that many hours into work. But the way I see it is like when you work with something that you really love, you don't see it as work anymore.
True.
You just like it's your hobby.
True.
So basically, you just keep doing it like naturally, and
Mm.
you enjoy doing it. And sometimes it's like, of course, stressful. You have to put to work with things that are boring, but it's just part of running
A lot
a
of
company.
part.
Exactly. But the way I see it, like when you are like now, like especially like young and you don't have much like family commitments, I would say, like in my phase, like it's your only opportunity like now when to put that many hours, because at some point in your life you're going to start acquiring people in your life that your time is not yours anymore. So I think it's really great that me and Alexandra started this when we were like in our 20s.
Yeah.
And we have all the time and the energy to.
Do you feel that when you will have a family, you will be less, not less passionate, but less productive? Because like there is, I hear this kind of stories that, okay, when I get children, I focus more about my children. I didn't like really focus about my work and passion. What do you think about this?
I think it has to do with the decision of who you choose to start a family with. I think you really have the you need to choose wisely. You need to find a person that is supportive, and then there are certain things, of course, now you do that takes you so much time. Like later on, you will be like more senior. You will like know a lot. You can do things faster and wiser. I think. In the beginning of a startup, you need to put so much, like smart work and hard work. But at some point, like you will be like the quality of your decision will define the success of your company more than how many sweat you put right now. So I don't know exactly, but what I know that I love doing this, I enjoy doing it.
So answer me with yes or no. Do you believe that if you will have a family and children, you will be less productive?
No, I don't think
you
so.
don't. Okay.
No, I don't think so.
How about you, Rim? What do you think?
If I have family and children,
Yeah.
naturally, because I need to be realistic, I don't think my passion will disappear because it's something that I've been wanting to do since I was a kid, to be able to create something that will leave an impact, as cliche as that sounds. But having a family, it really depends on the partner. But as a woman that might, like give birth, then I would realistically think the first year of the child's baby will slow me down a little bit. But anyways, it's not something in my plans right now. So because Combify needs me more for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned that like all your days of working hours and so on, you're same here, like you think about the business when you're like out with friends or eating dinner. Do you have time for your hobbies? Do you have hobbies? should I remove this question?
Oh, that's so sad that we left. Yeah. I mean, the maximum would be like, oh, I have free time. I want to watch a movie and then I sleep. But I mean, I choose, of course, like I travel, like I can do other things, but dedicated to this. So
you don't have like hobbies?
No.
Because like all your time and day is Combify.
Yeah.
Okay.
I cook. I love cooking. Yes. I don't know if that's a hobby.
That's a really great.
Do we count it?
Yes, I mean.
You have a hobby. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. Because I really love cooking, and sometimes, like, not sometimes, mostly, I'm like so tired. Like after a long day work, and I would be doing these complex things and enjoying, but it just calms me down. I think that's my hobby.
That's cool.
Yeah, a hobby that benefits Alaa and other friends.
A great hobby, actually.
What are yours?
Well, I mean, as you sit many hours, you know, on your desk working, so you need to have like a physical hobby. Something like I like to do some sport activities. I like sports that has more of how I put it. Like, I mean, going to the gym is always been struggling to me because it's like it's boring.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, it's like you need to have something more fun. So I play squash with a friend.
Nice.
Try to do it like twice a week, and then I like reading a lot. I consider that as a hobby. Listening to podcast, audiobooks,
Nice.
and of course, like hanging out with friends. I mean, it's in Sweden. It's Sweden. Like you really change your hobby. Your hobby is based on the season, right? I mean, it's like in summer you have like so much to do. Like you know,
Yeah.
like you really like you're invited to go out
Yeah.
always, like doing activities with your friends. But then in during winter times, you really have to be picky.
What is your dream?
That's a very deep question.
Yeah. Take your time to think about it.
I mean, if you think about life in general, like when you grow up, you plan certain path to your life, and then something happened, and then nothing that you planned actually happens, and that's okay, because other stuff and things define or draw a new path of your life, and then for example, if you had planned to have a certain job and build, like, you know, family and be surrounded with the same circle of people that you grow up with, then once of a sudden you are like in a new country, dealing with new people, new culture, new challenges. That gives you like wider perspective of what you want to achieve with your life, and then like how small your dreams were. So today, if I would say like my dream is to keep doing what I'm doing, I feel like I'm extremely lucky actually, like doing something I really care about, I really love every day. So I don't really have to envision what's going to happen in 10 years. I only like plan maybe for the next year. That's the maximum I can do today. But to give back, I mean to contribute back. I moved to Sweden. I was given this great opportunity to start fresh, start new, and my dream is like to give back, and show that I deserved that new beginning, and create, you know, an impact, something useful. It doesn't have to change the world, but I would be happy if it does. But if it didn't, at least it affected you know, some like enough amount of people that they appreciate my contribution to this.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Do you think, you mentioned you're lucky? Do you think you're lucky, or because you're a hard worker that you're here?
I think you need both. You need to put the hard work, and you need, you know, universal alignment with your hard work and efforts.
Yeah.
Because, you know, let's be honest about it, luck exists. I mean, I was not the only Syrian architect who was affected by war, but how many of us made it like to a new life, a new opportunity, and met just, you know, great business partners as Alexandra to start something they really love to do.
Yeah.
So you need
It's a
both.
combination.
It's a combination, yes.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for asking.
So Reem, I think you had enough time to think.
No, I was listening actually.
Yeah, it's very beautiful to hear from you, Alaa. Very, very inspiring.
Thank you.
So what is your dream, Reem?
To become financially free, so I am free to do the things that I really want to do. I see myself as a businesswoman, but also as a humanitarian. I want to do so much for people, especially women that have physical disabilities, especially in the Middle East. And let's be honest, you cannot do so much without money. And I'm not thinking about financial help, something more to educate them, help them rehabilitate and do these things, because I had a car accident when I was 14, but I was lucky that I was in Dubai. I was not somewhere else. I was lucky that I was born with my family that took care of me. And then I was lucky that I came to Sweden that spent millions on me in treatment. So this is one of my dreams, actually, is to be financially free so I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm driven by every day. I grew up when I was like 12, 11. I watched TED Talks. I remember my child friends used to watch, like musical video clips and all of that. And I used to watch TED Talks and spoken word poetry. And I thought, how can one person be standing on a stage and a crowd listening to that person and being influenced and impacted by one person? And that's how it all started, that I want to have that power.
Wow. It's really beautiful and inspiring. And also, like, of course, TED Talk has millions of views if you're cool. But I think what you do now, like from your work, from your communication on LinkedIn or Instagram, is also inspiring people. So like every single word counts from you. You don't need to be on TED Talk to be so much
No, exactly,
influencer.
but that's how
But that's like the reference or the big thing. I'm really happy. Like, thanks for sharing, because this was not on the list of the questions.
Yeah.
But you nailed it. So
thank you.
Good job. And now we are like in the last section of this episode, and I have 3 more questions or 4 more questions. The first one is like, what should urban planners stop doing in our cities? We can start with you, Reem.
I'm trying to say this in the best way possible.
Yeah, because I'm an urban planner. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how they do it. And I know that each company maybe does it differently. But to stop creating places, venues that are supposed to be accessible without actually testing it with people that will use that.
Okay.
So the prejudice of, okay, so this is accessible. Have you tested with a person that actually sits on a wheelchair and actually has a like rollator, like the walker? Because I think that there's so many places it's very, very bad that is built on the assumption. So I think that urban planners and architects, but mostly urban planners, outside, they should.
Yeah, urban designers. So like stop assuming things and actually test it with the people that are going to use it.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow. How about you? What should urban planners stop doing, or architects?
I think they should plan more and think more before making decisions. The main difference between an architect and an urban planner, that an architect needs to create a functioning, nice volume of a building that's going to be used by a specific group. But with urban planner, you're actually affecting everyone's life. Like, you don't have one specific group. You're like this, everyone is affected by your design. So I think you have to really look at many examples, like, and try to relate what is the best working model, because you are affecting the flow and the life of everyone that is going to use this space. So think more, plan more, and before making it doesn't just have to be nice, because with urban planning you really have to see the function, you have to see the purpose of creating a space.
Yeah.
And there are like many examples out there that you can learn from before
Of
make a
course.
decision.
Yeah. The next question, the next question is like, if you're allowed to create one rule in our city, what will you create? You can like create one rule or add one thing into all our cities. What will you add or create? You have something to add?
It's because it's such a big problem, and that you're not allowed to execute a plan or present a plan before it is tested with a person that will use it. If that person is has special needs
Okay.
about accessibility.
Okay. So this is the rule. Yeah.
That you're not allowed to build anything unless 1, 2, 3 people have tested it.
We should do an episode, Dream, about this topic, as we talked about. It's very important because I think we don't doing as how you mentioned, like test it with a user, like actual person. We just like do on 3D modeling and following the rules and put the material and then bingo, we think it works.
And I think that
I mean, on drawing it works according to the rules, and
yeah, but then who made the rules on the drawings and all of that when it comes to accessibility? For example, a ramp, who said which angle should it be? Because a ramp for a wheelchair user, it should be accessible enough that that person can also go up the ramp by themselves.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's not accessible. You still need someone else to help you.
Of course, yeah.
So this is another topic, but this is...
We should talk about this more. And how about you, Alaa? What will you add or create in our cities?
Yeah, I actually agree with what Alexandra just said, that you shouldn't become like a slave of the system just because it's the system. I think you really have to, because the system is there because there were like a reason why the rules were created, and that they solve a problem and they deliver the purpose. But you really have to test it with users, not only with urban planning, like everything you actually trying to create in life. You really try to sit with the user and like look from their perspective. If you are not one, of course, and even if you are one, you need to see like many other perspectives. So I think the communicate with who you are creating this for. And I think you will understand more.
Cool. Well, the last 2 questions now. I will not take much of your time. Give me and the listeners 3 takeaway messages. We can start with you, Reem.
Messages about anything?
Yeah, like about what we talked about, in general, something that the listeners will take from our conversation, from you.
If you learn more about construction and you understand more about the ongoing plans, I think you will, how can I say this? Like knowledge helps you understand how cities are moving, and because it impacts you every single day, because you're someone who is living in the society, you have to know about what's going on, not only to live as a bystander person. So I think, get more knowledge about what's being built, but proper knowledge, not judgmental knowledge without knowing what's going to happen, because that helps. And then if you're a business owner or a city planner or an urban planner, listen more to the users that we just talked about, because at the end of the day, you're creating something for other people. So get their feedback even more and more. And then the third one, if you do something, do it with passion.
Cool.
I will cheat here. Like, use something I lately took from a colleague of mine that made a lot of sense to me. And it was about that we always, when we have a problem, we think of things as, problem solution in your daily life, on your career life, and even private life. And then we forget about the thinking process, which is like before a solution comes the thinking. So it's actually, the order is a problem, then it's like thinking of like the reasons of the problem, why this problem exists in the first place, then the solution. So I would really recommend everyone to think once, twice, and 3 times before making any decision and executing. The second one is enjoying the journey, because that is more an advice to myself, more than the audience. It's because sometimes you live in your own dream, wishful thinking world that you want to get to the next step, you want to achieve more, and you forget about, what you have already achieved. So it's really good that you take a minute to look back and say, I've got somewhere with what I did. So give yourself credits and enjoy the process, because now 7 years has passed since I moved to Sweden, and it feels like yesterday. The third one would be, if you are a construction professional, use Combify.
I knew he will say something. I was waiting for something like this, I was waiting it should be maybe the second message. No,
No, but really, book a demo.
Book a demo. And
how can we do that, or what do you?
On the website, you can just go and book a demo.
And then what happened?
We'll talk with you. We'll speak to you, me, Alexandra, or like one of our team.
Is it for free?
Yeah, the demo is for free.
Definitely.
And it's
Really?
We would love to.
Cool. So we can put maybe the link in the description so people can.
Of course.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's for free, and we tell you what we have today, and then we see what are your needs.
Nice. Interesting. The last question, this time will be you asking this question. So you, Alaa, you, Reem, you ask me and the listeners a question that we think about.
How do you really want our future city to look like?
Good. It's a big question.
Yeah, where do you start?
Yeah.
And my question would be, after you answer Alexandra's question, what are you going to do about it?
Okay.
Because now you know how you want them to be.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about that?
Wow. Cool. Thank you so much. I'm really, really happy to talk to you. I'm really happy and proud of what you're doing. You're doing great, and I'm following your journey, and I will keep following. And I wish you a good luck, and hopefully see you in the next coming episode talking about interesting stuff as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mustafa, for hosting us.
Thank you so much, Mustafa. It was great talking to you.
Well, thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. You learned something new and also got inspired by the guest. Don't forget to share the episode on your social media and recommend it to people you think they are really interested in this topic. Thank you so much again for giving your valuable time to Urbanistica podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif. Keep up the good work. Keep loving cities.